What's up, everybody? It's Chris. Welcome back to another video. I'm super pumped about this. This video is going to be based on a blog post I made 2-3 months ago, something like that. I really don't remember how long it's been because time flies when you're selling fries. Tell you what, $10 in legit bucks to the first person that can tell me where that ridiculous quote that I just made came from, what movie it came from. But what we're going to be talking about today is 20 SEO Chrome extensions that are really going to help your SEO game. Now, a few caveats before we start. These are in no particular order. They are just ones that the team here at Superstar SEO has checked out and that they use and they like and things like that. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And a few other caveats is I made this presentation myself, more or less, so there's probably going to be typos in it. I don't care. But if you want to look out for those and you're that kind of person, that's fine too. However, that will be that, and some of these are paid, some of these are not paid, so really don't expect them all to be free. These are just the ones that we found that are the most useful for SEO purposes. So let's stop talking about what we're going to talk about and talk about what we're going to talk about. The number one SEO Chrome extension that well, again, not the number one, but the first one that we're going to be talking about today is the Moz bar. Moz is an SEO software and training company and other things that most anybody watching this probably already knows. Now, what the Moz bar is going to do is it's going to highlight things right in Google search and it's going to give you data about the particular search results. So the DA, which stands for domain authority of a site, basically it's Moz's third-party metric that tells you how powerful a site is, for lack of a better term. It's theoretically, the higher the DA, the better the ranking. That's not necessarily true. And of all the tools that do that, Moz probably has the least effective ranking. But that said, it's still going to give you a good amount of data particularly for analyzing a keyword and seeing if the competition for it is something that's worth pursuing. And guys, one more quick caveat that I should have covered in the beginning, but I'm covering now. And that is that nobody should really be using all of these. You just have to figure out which ones you like and which ones you don't and kind of see what works best for you. So if that's you, or if you find one that you don't like, don't use it. This is just some of the ones that are out there that we found to be useful for various use cases. So the next one we're going to talk about is SimilarWeb. Now, SimilarWeb, if you're not familiar with it, is a traffic analysis tool that, in my opinion, doesn't really get enough use in the SEO industry. But what it'll do is, at least with the paid tool will do, not the paid tool, but the main website will do is show you things like the traffic, the sources of the traffic of a site, where it stands against your competitors and things like that. It's really great information. Talking about the web tool here, I'm not a fan of the fact that they make you book a call to get on their paid version. It's the only reason I haven't really gone all in on it, because maybe it's petty, but I just can't stand that personally. So that's just me. Having said that, the Chrome extension is really, so this is just going to give you a great overview of the traffic and what to expect and things like that. And in our estimation, it gives you a much more accurate estimate of traffic than any other tool that we have played with or used or tried out. So this is a great one for that. It's just the paid tool, not the paid tool, but to get to the main version of the tool, it's a pain in the butt. So there's a nice little graphic to go, a little illustration to go with that. So basically, once you install the extension, all you have to do is go to your competitor's webpage and click the extension icon and get the information. And the pages per visit, the average duration, the country. You don't need me to read all of that to you. It really gives you just a lot of great information about the traffic coming to your or a competitor's site. So this is a really, really handy tool that not as many people use as could probably benefit from it. Next up is BUZZSUMO. Those of you in Superstar SEO Academy and who have been following me for a while know that I really, 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 really love BUZZSUMO. And the reason for that is because the paid tool gives you so much great information about what content works, not only for SEO, but it's great for that too, but what works across social media, what titles work, what works on Facebook. And it's just a plethora of data. Having said that, the SEO Chrome extension for BUZZSUMO, not that great, in my opinion. You have to have a paid account, and it just shows you like the popularity, the social shares and things like that of the different sites in the SERP. So if you have a paid account, you may as well use it. But overall, I don't find this to be as good as some of the others on this list. But I love BUZZSUMO. So if you have BUZZSUMO, you may as well install this too. Next up is one of my favorites, and that is SEO MINION. Now, SEO MINION is probably If I had to label any of these a must-have, this would be one of the two that immediately come to mind. It does a variety of things. One of my favorite use cases for it is for broken link building. Now, real quick, if you don't know what broken link building is, it's where you look at a site that has an outbound link to something that no longer exists. And then what you do is you contact that site and ask them if you can if you can have that broken link point to your site as well. Now, the theory being that it's helpful to them because now they no longer have a broken link on their website, and helpful to you because you have a relevant link that will drive traffic and possibly ranking. So that's what broken link building is, and SEO Minion, one of the things it does is helps with that. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. It has an on-page analyzer that really helps you understand the structure and the content of a website, of a page, I should say, and the hreflang data, and just a lot of great information that you can see there. So, in my opinion, if I had to pick 2 or 3, this would definitely be in my list. Next up is SEO Quake. Now, SEO Quake, if you're not familiar with it, is made by the same folks that make SEMrush. And it does a lot of great things. I think some of the data that it uses that we're going to talk about in just a second is a little bit behind the times. But it gives you some great quick information. So for example, it will give you the density report, which I'm laughing because recently there was a course that came out that was apparently certified by Google on I forget what that course platform is called, but it said that keyword density should be below 2%, which is kind of what SEO Quake bases their thing on. But in my opinion, and in the opinion of most people today, it's more accurate to see what's working per SERP. So, but if you want to base your SEO off of that, there's nothing wrong with that. Just because that's how I like to do it doesn't mean it's right or wrong. But if you want to base it off of 1 or 2% density, that's great. The density report is a particularly good page, and it gives you just a great SEO analysis overall. It's not my favorite tool on this list, but it is a good tool, and that is the next one, SEO Quake. Next up, we have another one that I consider an absolute must-have, to the point that I have used this so long that when I go to somebody else's computer that doesn't have it or something like that, the search, like Google search, looks naked without it there. Because what this will do is keywords everywhere. What it will do is show you the keyword volume, or the search volume for that particular term when you search it. Now it's based on their own metrics, so determine what you feel is right and what isn't. But it's also going to show you a whole bunch of related terms that you can make content on or try to rank for or analyze or whatever right there in your browser. It's just so powerful. It's such a great tool. It is paid, but I've had it since they switched from completely free to paid, and I have paid, I think, $20 for tens of thousands of searches. So the price is very, very inexpensive, and it's worth every penny. If you do any kind of SEO, I consider this to be an absolute must-have. That's keywords everywhere. Next up is Keyword Surfer. Now, the last one I said was a must-have. This one is very, very similar to it. It'll show you search volume and related keywords, and from a tool called Surfer SEO, which is a fantastic SEO tool that I have a review of on this channel. Just search, Surfer SEO review or something like that. You should be able to find it okay. And what this will do, in addition to showing you related terms and search volume, is it'll actually give you a content editor that you can use right there in your browser. So you can optimize your content for that term. Now, it's not as robust as the full paid version, which if you're doing SEO, you probably need. But it's a great start. If you don't have the budget, maybe you just have one site and you don't have the budget to pay for Surfer every month, this is a great way to use that, a great way to supplement that. So this is the next one, Keyword Surfer Chrome extension. Next up is a great tool if you want to pay for the full version or do a free trial. It has a ton of great information, and that is Mangools. Mangools is a great SEO tool that's going to break down your on-page SEO and just do a really great analysis for what is just a Chrome extension. No, I don't want to say just a Chrome extension to belittle it, but for what is a Chrome extension. Now, the free version is very, very limited, but I said at one point in this video that you have to choose which ones you like. You can get several tools that will get you the same results as this, or you can get it all from this in a paid tool. So it's up to you. It's a good tool. It's one I suggest you use if you want to spend a little bit. It's a strong tool, so check that out. That's Mangools Tools. I always want to say Magool. The next one we came up with is SERP. I'm going to be perfectly honest. This isn't my favorite one on the list because I just feel like I can get more from other tools. But, again, just because that's what I like doesn't mean that's what you should like. And it doesn't even mean, obviously, what the team likes, because they came up with this list in concert with me. And they like this one. So what this will do is show you on-page SEO metrics that include your headers, your meta titles, outbound links, speed optimization, and things like that. So it has its uses. It's a good tool if it's something that you like. It's not my favorite, but it is a good tool, and that one is SERP. Next up is Check My Links. Now, earlier I talked about broken link building, so I'm not going to go through that again. This one is just cut and dry, helps you with that. It's going to look at your page or a competitor's page and tell you if a link is broken. If it's on a competitor's page, you can, or not a competitor, but another person's page, you can reach out to them and see if you can get that link replaced. If it's on your own, you know to fix it. So that's pretty straightforward. That's what I love about this one, is there's no frills or anything like that. It's just, it does what it does. So that is Check My Links. Next up, we have PageSpeed Insights by Google. Now, I'm going to say something controversial here. I think PageSpeed tools, particularly Google's, are complete BS. Maybe not complete, but are in the vicinity of BS. And the reason for that is, with Google's tool in particular, you can run the same test 3 times back to back and get dramatically different results. And in my opinion, the only true measure of a good page load time is your brain. So if you open a website on your 3G or 4G or whatever it is now phone, and it loads fine, it's good. If it doesn't, it needs work. Having said that, this is what Google looks at when it looks at page speed. So it's still important to consider this. If you are consistently getting bad speeds, you want to fix that. And rather than go to your website, you can use their Chrome extension and just do a page speeds type right there from the Chrome extension. So that one is Google PageSpeed Insights. Next up, we have nofollow. Now, I'm going to briefly cover the difference between nofollow and dofollow in case you don't know. Essentially, and it's lessened importance dramatically over the last few years, but essentially there are 2 types of link. A nofollow, which means that Google's bot and other bots will find that link on your page and not follow it to its target, so it kind of stops there. And the other one is dofollow, which Google and other bots will find that on your page and follow that over to the next page, and basically passing what a lot of people call link juice. So that's the theory. Google a few years ago announced that nofollow was a suggestion more so than a directive. So it's not as important as it used to be, but there are still instances where you would want to know if a link is nofollow or dofollow, and this extension does just that. It will highlight the links on your page and tell you which have a nofollow tag and which do not. So that one's pretty straightforward. That is nofollow. I like how the name of it is exactly what it does. Next up is WooRank. Now, what wow, that's tough to say. What WooRank is one of those tools where you can input a website and it'll go through and do an audit that'll format it into a nice report to show to your prospects and your clients and give it a bunch of information. To be perfectly honest, it's more to impress people than it is any information that's really helpful to fix. So, but it's a lot of technical stuff, and there is some good information in it, and it's a nice looking report that can really help you close it. It's as the main tool, not the extension, but the main tool, I'm not a big fan of. I think it's overpriced and does the exact same thing that stuff like SERP does for a much more robust tool for a less price, but it does work. I've used them to close clients. It's been a while, but I've used them to close clients in the past, and the free extension is kind of a light version of that, if you will. So basically it'll do an analysis report of a website that it analyzes. Because, analyze and analysis are the same thing. And there's one of those typo/grammar errors that I talked about, but, it is what it is. What's My SERP? What's My SERP is a tool that's actually been around for a long time. Again, talking about the main tool and not just the extension. But what it used to do is you could put in, and it didn't even make you have an account or anything like that. You could just put in a URL and a keyword and would tell you if and where that keyword ranked on that website, or that website ranked for that keyword. It's grown into a rank tracker and some other things, and it has a Chrome extension that is basically going to tell you the keyword volume and other related keywords, and it's similar to Keywords Everywhere in that regard. So it's kind of an extension, see what I did there, of the What's My SERP rank tracker. So that's a handy tool if it's the one you prefer for those particular functions. That is What's My SERP. I was just reading a post about Ahrefs on Facebook about some controversial decisions they've made recently. I'll leave you to go look for that on your own because I don't like to stir things up. However, Ahrefs, as you know, is one of the most well-rounded SEO tools for, it does all sorts of things, but for link analysis is what I like it for. But it also does rank tracking and on-page and all these other great things. And the Chrome extension is going to give you a good snapshot of the data from a particular website that it analyzes. So Ahrefs it's really a great SEO tool. Again, they're going through some headaches right now, but it's a great tool. Honestly, you have to have it if you're doing SEO, and the extension helps you with that a lot. And, if you don't have the budget for it, which is going to be a lot of people, it seems like, but if you don't have the budget for it, this is a nice compromise to get you a little bit of information that you could get from a full-on paid account. So that is the Ahrefs SEO toolbar. FatRank is basically a rank tracker. So basically what it's going to do is you install it in Chrome, and if you go to a particular website and you click on it and you type in a keyword, say that if you're on my site, superstarseo.com, which I hope you are. But if you go to that and then you type in Superstar SEO, it's going to show you where I rank for Superstar SEO. So it's a cool way to quickly check where your page ranks for a particular keyword. It's pretty handy if you are one of those people that likes to check your rankings regularly and things like that. So yeah, if you don't have a ton of keywords, this is great for it, and it's just really a handy little tool. So that one is FatRank. Next up is Ninja Outreach. Now, Ninja Outreach, if you're not familiar with it, is kind of a dumb, I don't want to say dumbed down because that's disrespectful, but a light version of the premier outreach tool, which is Pitchbox. Pitchbox is basically a tool for outreach for links and influencers and things like that. And Ninja Outreach is similar. It's just not quite as enterprise or robust, but it's a great tool. I have it myself. I've used it and it does well. And we're talking about the desktop application, and they have the Chrome extension as well, Ninja Outreach, which will basically help you do that. It's going to help you find sites to do outreach to. And what this is going to do is just give you a bunch of information about a site. So basically you'll navigate to a site, click on this in your browser, and it'll give you a bunch of information, including the contact information, it's been deprecated now, but the Alexa rank and some other stuff. So if you're not ready to go full on with something like Pitchbox, Ninja Outreach is a great supplement or a great lower budget option, I guess, for the time being. And this will make that a little bit easier. So that one is that Ninja Outreach. Next, we have Meta SEO Inspector. Now, what this will do is you'll install it, and then you'll go to a website and you'll click on it, and it's going to analyze all sorts of different things in your meta tag, title, and description, particularly the title and description, including if it's too long, if it's too short, if the data is wrong, stuff like that that can be easy wins. Quick, I guess, tip, I guess, for getting clients on this one is that if you can go to a prospect's website, screenshot this and show it with their website right there in the background, send that to them and say, if you want to quickly make some wins for your SEO, just change this to this, this, and this, and you'll get it. And if you need help doing that, shoot me a message. That has worked like a world heavyweight champ for me in the past. So that's a great one, and that one is Meta SEO Inspector. And last but not least is UBERSUGGEST. Now, if you could hear someone rolling their eyes, I'm pretty sure I could have just heard a bunch of people watching this. But UBERSUGGEST is owned by Neil Patel, who is a very controversial person in the SEO community. Most people I don't want to say they don't like him, but they judge him even though he outranks most of them. And UBERSUGGEST is a tool that he bought a few years ago, and it's honestly very underrated. The free version has a lot of ads and things like that in it, and that's frustrating, but it gives you good information. And the lifetime version, or whatever you want to call it, actually has a good bit of data. And if you're on a budget, or if you just want to have it in the convenience of your web browser, UBERSUGGEST Chrome extension is actually a great option for you. So I particularly like the people also search for function, and it'll give you some detailed some information on. So don't let your bias against Neil Patel, if you have it, make you not try out UBERSUGGEST SEO Chrome extension. Some final thoughts. The first one is I picked this particular picture, even though it's quite old at this point, because it says at the end of this, it says suit your style, and I'm wearing a suit. and I love a good dad joke. So that's that. Another thing I want to point out is you may have noticed that there were only 19 and not 20, and that's because one of them was in there twice. So that's the reason for that. And then finally, if you want to get more info on all of these, there is a blog post linked in the description that's going to give you more in-depth information on each, including screenshots and a link to install them and try them out for yourself. So which ones of these do you use? Let me know in the comments. Which ones of these do you not disagree with me on? Which ones did I not list that you think I should have? And if any other feedback that you have on this video or anything else, leave it in the comment, and I do my best to read all of the comments I get. So you like it, like, share, and subscribe. Like I said, this video is the first one in quite some time, but we're going to be back with quite a few in the upcoming weeks, months, and rest of the year. So be on the lookout for that. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.